Oh, good evening, Air Gunners. Air Gunners Edge here, back with the Flashpup 25 cal and tuning. So, right from where I left off, I was mentioning the trigger. We'll skip right over that. I've already had this all apart. I just want to make sure I'm in focus here. I've already had all this apart, and what I was doing was miking the transfer port holes through the main air cylinder and for the barrel. And for the main transfer port, I should say, is in the receiving block here. So what I got was the air tube hole is 150 thousandths. What I got for the barrel was 180 thousandths. What I got for the transfer port hole here, which you can reach right through this bottom, and once you take this air cylinder out, and I'll be drilling straight through into the barrel, 116 thousandths right here in the breech. So you can already know this is going to be your weak point. That's where it's restricting all that air. So on my Hatsan Flash, I opened it up to, I believe, 175 or 180. So something on this gun is telling me not to do that yet. So what I'm going to do is open it from 116 thousandths to 160 thousandths. This is going to be unregulated for now anyways. So I think I'm going to just try the 160. It might keep the shot count a little higher, in that I just want to see where exactly that power is coming from. I know I said I was going to make this thing a beast, but I think the Hatsan Flash is more closer to that, and I actually want to experiment, so I want to try 160 before I do the 185 or 195. But I really just want to experiment and get a good shot count and power out of this, unregulated. So 160 is for that. Oh, and this is going to be a demonstration. This right here is 116 thousandths or 115 thousandths. This just slid into that transfer port hole. Now, the 195 thousandths is this one here. So, as you can see, that is a lot more air that will be traveling through there. But what I'm going to do first is, this is 160 thousandths. Or did I have that backwards? My apologies. There you go. On the left is what probably total I'll end up trying. And this is 115 thousandths here. So I just think 180 is going to be too soon, and I really want to get a good feel for this gun. And I just jumped to the 180 thousandths before in my flash, so I'm going to try the 160, and that'll open it up nice. I'll champ for all the ports. I'm going to have it at the bridge, on the bridge port at work, so I'm not going to video record all that. But I will just go through and explain this. Set screws in the bottom, set screws in the top to remove the barrel and the tube. Barrel has to come off first so it can get by your QE, or just take the QE off. It doesn't matter. I'll start with the air tube. And the air tube, I said, was 150 thousandths. This is not a problem. I will have no issues enlarging that to 160. Actually, I think I'm going to do 180, 185. I really want the air to come out of here, so that's just going to be one less restriction, and there will be no harm or foul with opening this up. You can see the O-rings are really far apart. Okay, yeah, here's another thing. Getting this off is not always fun. I have a piece of leather, I wrap it, 2 pieces of wood with V-blocks, V's cut into them, and I grab it with the vise so all the weight is transferred over this tube, and then I just use the adjustable and I unscrew this, which it comes counterclockwise. just to let you know. And this was a beast to get off, I won't lie. But I managed. And do not put anything sharp like a pair of vice grips or anything on your tube. If you put one hard indentation, that's really affecting the tube safety, and you'll probably have to replace it because you don't want this thing to explode or leak. No one getting hurt. So please do not put vice grips on just leather or anything. That's not enough surface area. Use 2 blocks of wood, and as I stressed, a piece of leather around it. Okay, tube is out. Here's your valve for the tube. Going to need to remove the needle so I can drill through and open this up. The best way I found, this is screwed on, very tight also. It is plastic. If you put a regulator on here, the O-ring seat sits right around here. You do not want to grab it with channel locks or anything and damage that, because you will have an issue with sealing if you ever do put a regulator in there. So don't do that, and I'll show you an easier way. Okay, I just got a whole bunch of small Allen wrenches here. I believe I showed this in the flash video. I find this way there's more surface area in these holes, and you do not want to damage these holes. You just grab them and just break it loose. That way you have more surface area covered. And like a snap ring pliers, I started doing that with the flash, and it started really flexing and deforming it. So before I did any damage, I stopped. Okay, just take out all the Allen wrenches. Save one small one. And I'll show you why you save the small one. Spring, plastic cap. Put it somewhere where you're not going to lose it. And right there. Cupping this, hand over. Give the needle a little push down. In with the small Allen wrench. It slides right out. So I am going to massage this also, though. I just want to see if I can sneak a little more air through. So I'll massage this down with, you have to be very careful, and I don't recommend, if you have no idea what you're doing, don't do this. I'm just going to throw that out there. Because if you mess up the seat on this, it will not seal, and you will have to get a new one. So just don't mess with it. I'm just telling you what I'm going to be doing. I'll massage this out, and not too much, though, because depending on the hammer strike, this does not look... you just don't want to get... I don't want to get it too thin, so I'm just going to clean it up a little. Okay, now I got this out. There's my transfer hole. I'm going to put my drill in, take a piece of tape, and mark that and put the tape down, and that's how much of the drill bit I will be using to go inside. So that way I see that drill tape, I can stop, and I do not damage the other side of this tube. I will have to chamfer the inside. You need to very carefully get inside this hole with a small file, or I have a grinding bit, and get any flash that is there off of there, and you got to smooth that up. But you also have to be careful not to do any damage inside. And I'm not sure if there's an O-ring. Yes, there is a white one, I think, all the way down in there. So make sure you check before you go filing anything on the inside. Okay, so that was the tube covered. And this is what I'm going to be doing here. I do have this cocked. Obviously, I'm not worried. There's no air. There's no pellet. I already checked. What I want to do... Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Now, at this point, you can usually look in and see the marks from the set screws. I try lining those back up. If you have a good light, you can see in there, and you just need to get the set screw set in one and just watch the other one and make sure the mark is lined up. Once that mark is lined up and you got snugged, make sure your magazine can still fit in there. I've had it where I had it pushed in too much and you cannot get the magazine in. So I do that. Oops. Come on. Yeah. Okay. So once you get that, sorry about that. Once you get that there, make sure your set screw holes are right there. Tighten both of them up. Make sure your clip still comes in easy and out. Now, this set screw here is the hole from the factory that is drilled through for your transfer port. You have a limit because there's a set screw here on how big you can do your transfer port. And you do not want your transfer port too big anyways. Going into the barrel, because you will have actually a pellet issue if it is opened up too much. Sorry. All right, I'm going to mic this out. So I'm looking at, oops, make sure I got the right one. So it's about 195 thousandths for that set screw hole right there. So that really is your limit on how big you can make your transfer port. Unless, like I said, and I was going to do it, but I know you want to keep 80%, trying to remember, 80% of the barrel, the width of the hole. You don't want your pellet dropping into that transfer port hole. So you have to keep it very conservative to where you will have not affected your gun, because once you do that, then your gun is pretty much destroyed. Your pellets will never load, and it'll always shave off the hole going in there. So about 195 is your max right here, unless you opened it up, retapped it, and used a bigger set screw. You could do that if you want to be daring and open it up a lot, but I won't be doing that with this. So this is going to be lined up. You just want to make sure, obviously, if you have your drill bit, same deal. Send your drill bit all the way in. And what I like to do is feel around the barrel and see if there's any, see if the barrel is centered with this hole, because that transfer hole on the barrel has to be lined up with this when it's inside. Otherwise, you're going to be half off and not as much airflow. It's going to be a disturbance. So I just try to get that as perfect as possible lined up, and then put my set screws, make sure these are all tightened up, and then I can send the drill straight through. What I use is a 195 thousandths. It'll be in the bridge port, and I'll switch it over to 160 thousandths so I know my drill bit is centered, and I will just go down through. And once that is done, I will be able to clean this all out, chamfer this. It doesn't come out the other side, but you have to be careful because you have to go inside now and clean up any flashing that is in there. So you just don't want to be going crazy and nicking all this up, because that is where the O-rings seat in here. So you do not want to damage that. It's a little timely process. That's why I said by the time me doing it, I'd make an 8 or 10 hour video. So I'm not going to bother doing that. I'll just explain what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it. So that'll be all cleaned out. If I can, I'll get the 190 thousandths and just chamfer that hole that's in the bottom of the tube. So we'll just clean that up, clean everything up, good chamfers on everything, and then I will be opening up this. And this one is really smooth. My flash, I cannot unfortunately say that it was as great. I needed to do a lot of work in there and clean everything up. One thing here, this is your hammer spring. What I did, yeah, where is it now? Oh, there we go. Okay, what I did on my other one, on my flash, and I really liked how it worked out, so I'm going to do it on this one. These are RC bearings. They're about 90 thousandths thick. I usually do them on trigger jobs and whatnot, but the wire fits in there on mine perfectly. I'm going to check this one, see if it does, but I'm going to actually have this as a shim for my hammer spring. I'm out 7 turns, and it just doesn't feel like enough, and I shouldn't be out that far. So, but it works so good on my flash, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull out the spring, make sure everything's cleaned up. I'll do that on a separate video, but after this one. But I just wanted to explain everything and what I'll be doing to mine. So if you're wondering how I did it, then that pretty much explains it all. I'm going to see if I can do this tomorrow, and I'll make a second video. I'll show you guys everything and what was done to this. Alright, just trying to remember if anything else before I part way here. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Just watch all the O-rings. You don't want to damage them and have to replace them as you're putting the gun back together. And always work safely. Okay, that'll be it for today. And then I'll get into the receiver, trigger, a little bit anyways. And then we'll get to putting it back together and start testing it. So, okay, hopefully that was good information. Need any more information, just ask. I'll see if I can even make a part 2 to this, redefining or anything else. But yeah, this is the weakest link, and the transfer port on this is only, on mine, that's another thing I want to mention, is 116 thousandths. On my flash, it seemed to be a little bigger, but I still opened it right up to 180, and I had no issue. Sorry, right here, through this hole. I had no issues at 180 thousandths. So, and I don't know if you've seen the other videos, but that's an incredible gun now, and regulated. But we're going to try unregulated, and we'll try a smaller port. It might actually, the air might travel faster, so that's why I want to start small. Just do a little experimentation. Okay, thanks for watching, and like I said, 116 thousandths and 195 thousandths. There's a big airflow difference in there. So definitely the receiver is the weak link on this for pushing air through, and that's what I want to do. Okay, thanks for watching, and till the next one, good shooting.